Welcome to Slasher Sunday, guys. I already recorded this fucking video, but somehow my camera wasn't recording, and I'm just beside myself about it. So, what the fuck? That sucks. Anyways, technical issues. All of you YouTubers out there who watch my channel understand my frustration, but that's not your guys' problem. You're here to hear a review on Final Exam, or at least my rhetoric discussing this ridiculous film. So this guy has given this girl some real fancy pillow talk here in the opening, and he's saying stuff like, what, my car isn't good enough for you anymore? I've dropped enough money on hotels. And she's like, do you love me? And he's like, I brought you out here, didn't I? This guy is a fucking gem. I'm so glad she's having sex with this guy. I'm so glad he's being rewarded by like the greatest thing ever. Women, please stop sleeping with douchebags when they're acting like douchebags. I don't care what you're saying. Don't do it. It encourages this bullshit behavior. And then you want to wonder, no, okay, I'm not going to preach. Just, so lame. Stop fucking idiots. Anyway, the killer jumps on the roof, slices through the fucking, convertible top, and then the guy's like, what the hell? Let's get out of here. And he jumps in the front seat. He tries to drive off, and the killer grabs him, pulls him up through the fucking roof there, and then throws him on the hood while the car is still moving forward and stabs him to death as the car is rolling. Then it cuts to the lamest fucking music ever. It's awful. And then at the very end of the movie, when it's over and the big climax happens, then it cuts to that same lame fucking music that was intended for like a 70s romance film. It is god awful. Why would anyone pick such nonsense? Ugh. Anyway. I do love that the killer has not only no mask, but no motive. This film is like devoid of any kind of emotion towards its its victims being dispatched. Like, characters are set up for the entire film. Let me tell you, if you haven't seen this movie and you're like a slasher fan, you get that kill in the opening, which is really lame. Which, it's funny because he pulls the guy out of the car, but outside of that, it's very generic. No blood, no gore, no nothing. And then 55 minutes into the film, you get the next kill. 55 fucking minutes. Now, yes, Halloween does the same thing. The problem and the difference, lots of differences, is not a very good movie. Halloween's a masterpiece. But one of the reasons that Halloween works so well is because Michael Myers is always a looming threat. He's always constantly in the back of our minds, like, shit, is he there? Is he there? We are reminded of his looming, lurking presence at all times throughout the film. He is always a danger. He is always a threat in that film. There is not 1 second of Halloween where Michael Myers is not a threat in the film. You can feel the weight of it through the entirety of the film. This film, I forgot it was a slasher movie for like 20-30 minutes. I forgot there was even a killer in this movie. They don't remind us of him at all. He's not in the film. We are just paying attention to nonsense. Fucking college campus hijinks and like, teenage romance, and it's all really lame stuff. It's not a terrible movie. I do like certain aspects of it. I do like when the guy is stalking the girl. I like the only real stalking in the movie, which is very little of. But I do like when they follow, like, she puts her tray in this little conveyor belt thing, and it, like, the camera comes down, it follows that down, it follows the busboy or the dishwasher or whatever out the door, and then she's coming around, and then it goes to his van, and then he gets out and goes to follow her. That's a really cool shot. It's not all done in one take. It would have been better if it was, but I liked it. It created an atmosphere to it. It had a good flow to it. It was a neat scene. I also, as I said, I love that the killer has no mask on, and he gives no motive at all. There's no moment where it's like, oh my God, this place burned down 20 years ago and he's back for revenge, or my mom, I'm living the sins of my mother, whatever. Paying for the sins of my mother, whatever. No, none of that shit. Nothing. Much like Halloween, no motives, no nothing. He just is a fucking killing machine. Somebody who completely lost his mind. Things that would never, ever, ever get made today in this movie. So first, the teacher is in the classroom and he's about to give out the final exam, even though there's another test that they're stealing later, so I don't know which one's the final exam. Doesn't matter. But these guys are taking their exam, and the teacher tells them that if they cheat, he has a sniper stationed outside the window who will kill them if they cheat. Yeah, that wouldn't fly today. And then he also says that he'll take a bribe, that he would take money to let them cheat, but he has a price, but they haven't met it yet. And you'd think he was kidding, except for then he leaves the classroom to go to his office to meet the teenage college girl, maybe she's in her early 20s, whatever, that he is planning on banging later behind his wife's back. And when the girl's talking about his wife, she's talking about how saggy her skin must be and how he must, he really needs to get there and make sure he does, because this is the last opportunity he's going to have for a while to have tight skin and all this shit. And then she says, what is your wife, like 30 now? 30? Really? I don't know if she was kidding or if she actually thought that was old, but I guess when you're 19 you think 30's ancient. But I don't know. Do I look like I have any loose skin here? How am I doing? Jesus Christ, 30 fucking years old. Hilarious. Then we move on to something that would in all ways never in a million years work these days. And it is a fraternity prank of shooting up the school with fully automatic rifles in ski masks. Like 4 people jump out of the car, blow a bunch of students away, go out, grab their dead bodies, throw them in the van, and take off. Now, the guy who's responsible for the prank is doing this so that he can cheat on the test. He brings a red marker thing with him, red crayon, yeah, marker. He gives himself an 82 because that's the passing grade he needs, throws it up there, runs out. The guy who's doing the prank himself, the one who's driving the van, brings his own van to do this. And he's a popular guy on campus, a very popular guy, and everyone knows him. Everyone knows what he drives. But he's a moron, so it makes sense that he would do that, but Jesus Christ. But then, nobody thinks this is a big deal. Nobody. All the kids who were getting shot at, like a couple of them are like, oh my God, that was terrifying, whatever, and someone comes up and they're like, didn't you see his Kappa Psi Delta, whatever the fuck, symbol on his car? Like, oh my God, it was just a prank. And they're like, oh, I can't believe we fell for that. Somebody jumps out of a car with an automatic weapon and people start falling to the ground with blood spraying out of them. And you're just like, oh my God, how'd I fall for that? Who the fuck wouldn't fall for that? Especially nowadays. And then when the cop is called by the serial killer obsessed smart guy, who I don't know, they show the killer's face in the opening, so he's not really a red herring. He can't be. We know who the killer is, but maybe you're thinking, well, they're in cahoots, or maybe he'll feel the plight of this guy. Who fucking knows? But he's just, for no reason, he's obsessed with serial killers. It kind of reminds me of Randy in this film a little bit. But yeah, so nobody on the campus seems to give a fuck. The cop comes, the sheriff comes, and the coach comes out, and the coach is like, what's the big deal? Wasn't it hilarious? I thought it was funny. And the sheriff's not even mad about that. He's just mad anyone called him and that he had to come out there in the first fucking place. And then the security guard, the campus security guard, comes over and tells the sheriff to fuck off, essentially. He's like, you know, I run a tight ship here, whatever. Like, you know, this is my grounds. Like, get the fuck out of here. He doesn't say that specifically, but it's basically what he's saying. And the sheriff's like, gets in his car and leaves. Like, when have you ever seen a security guard bossing around a sheriff or a policeman or anything? It was hilariously stupid. But Wild Man is a wild man. Talk about a wild man. This guy takes deodorant, sprays it under his arms after he puts his sweater on, mind you. And he still has like shaving cream all over his stomach. He doesn't even bother wiping that off. He just puts a sweater over and then sprays deodorant onto his shirt, not his actual armpits, and then sprays it into his mouth like Banaka and then washes it down with some fucking whiskey or whatever. This dude is out of his goddamn mind. It was an aerosol thing, so I'm not exactly sure how he did that and what the hell that shit was, but he really sprayed that in his mouth and then took some fucking like whiskey in his mouth and slushed it around and spat it out. But he swallowed some of that for sure. I don't know what that stuff was, but my good God, the guy they got for that. I like Wild Man. He's definitely the standout character. He's fun. He's an asshole. I wouldn't like him in real life, but he's entertaining in the film. The school shooting thing is oh my God. Do you imagine anyone doing that today? Hell no. I do like the feeling of the campus. I feel like it's very isolated. I did dig that about this this movie. When she's being stalked on campus, very little, honestly, but I don't know, when that's happening, it feels very isolated, and I do dig that about the film. And I like how they go tell this guy to go and steal a test, and not only does the room that holds the test have the roof open, like you can just climb over because it's like a half wall and you just jump right over, grab the test, and he jumps back. But then he's walking back and he's like sneaking through the halls and he's holding the test in his hand, which is already all folded, by the way. He could have just folded it up and popped it in his pocket, so if he was caught, it would be like, what are you doing in here? It's like, oh, I'm just, whatever. But he's just holding it in his hand, walking around sneaking. Like, this idiot. What a fucking moron. Yeah, it's pretty hilarious, though. Frat initiations. You guys know my opinion on that. I've talked about these enough in here. It's just, what in the fuck are people thinking? I don't care how cool the frat is. No, I would never let anyone treat me like that for any goddamn reason. They tie this guy to a tree because he gives his pin off to his new girlfriend, who she's like questioning their love 5 seconds after she's bragging about their love to everybody. It's pretty funny. That's fucking young love for you right there. Love. But they tie his ass to a tree and they pull open his underwear and they dump a shitload of fucking ice in there. And he sits there with ice on his dick and his balls for hours, dude. That would cause serious damage. Like, he would have freezer burn on his dick. That would seriously fuck you up if you did that. So, having some lighting issues here. Then this thing is killing. Like, but yeah. Anyway, I don't know why it takes his girlfriend so fucking long to get out there. He is tied to that tree in like broad daylight, and she doesn't make it to the tree until hours later. Like, and the security guard doesn't cut him down. He just pours some like liquor on his dick. Like, wow, this school is fucked up. But I just thought it was insane that she took so long. I guess she was just like, do I love him? Is he worth going and saving? Oh, Lord. We do get to see some boobs. And they're great, man. It's that girl that's, wanting to sleep with the teacher or whatever. Whew, she is fine, and I am very happy. It's for, like, blink and you miss it kind of shit, but she's got a great body there, so I was glad that we got to see that. Helped the film a little bit, for sure. And the, oh, Jesus. I do love that Wild Man just charges at him and they get into this big brawl. He does get strangled by the weights, which was kind of a cool kill, but Wild Man was not going down without a fight. I feel like he got his ass kicked and handled a little too easily, but I did like that he fought back really hard. That guy tied to the tree would have gotten so sick, by the way, as well. I wanted to say, but whatever. And I had something else I missed here, I thought. There is a very Halloween 2. Oh, when the naked girl, the one who shows her tits, she like grabs his hand and starts kissing it, you know, very Alice from, no, wait. Yeah, no. Shit. Yeah. Anyway. Sheriff, yeah. Of course the sheriff doesn't believe him. The trash can kills, whatever. The fucking kills in this are so lame. The guy is like stabbing like this. They're so soft and weak. And then the chick comes in, and when she pushes him off the fucking balcony, he falls all the way down, and he hits the thing, and she comes down, and he grabs her leg. She grabs that knife, dude. This chick should have been the killer in the movie. This chick knew how to handle a knife. She was fucking going to town on this guy. She was destroying him. I know that you could argue that this guy was just insane, and he was being very meticulous, and he was emotionless, so it wasn't like out of anger. It was just kind of like he was just killing to kill, and there wasn't any motives or anger or emotions behind it, so that's why he wasn't being vicious about it. It was just like grabbing it. It was just like, die. Like, I'm just here to kill people. You could argue that, but I liked her, you know, brutality of getting back at him. Janet, right? Fuck, now I'm spacing. God damn it. That's not like me. Isn't Alice is the one who gets her throat slit, right? In Halloween 2. And Janet's the one who kisses Michael's hand. Yeah. Pretty sure that's accurate. Fuck. I'm gonna have to delete this shit. Alice is the girl who gets her throat cut. That added scene, that's so fucking stupid. It makes no sense at all. Michael would not kill that girl. It just doesn't make any sense. Whatever. I do love that the coach comes through and shoots the fucking arrow at the guy, and the guy just fucking catches it, dude. Just, you know how impossible that is. You know how hard that he grabs it out of the air and then comes at the guy and just stabs him with his own arrow. And the coach, I don't know what the hell the coach's move was there when he came at him, but yeah, he was. He tried, I guess. Not really. And yeah, then as I said, like the no motives. And then he just falls down. She grabs the knife, stab. And then she goes outside, sits on the stairs, cue the lame ass fucking music, credits. Like, I love that. I love how just quick the ending is. Just done. No fucking explanation, no nothing. But overall, this is not a very good movie. I was pretty underwhelmed with this flick, so oh well. I saw it once, but I remembered almost nothing about it, except for that I didn't really care for it a whole lot. And I guess I stuck to that, but anyways. Alright, well, this is yet another one from the Exploding Heads podcast. This was an honorable mention on one of their lists, and so I threw it on here. I think I saw almost every film in their top 50. But yeah, if you guys haven't checked out the Exploding Heads movie podcast, those guys are fan-fucking-tastic. I love listening to them every day, and this was another one. So thank you to them for this, whoever gave me this recommendation, even though I didn't care for it all that much. Anyway, guys, all right. I'm sitting upstairs watching Walking Dead right now while I'm editing my video, and it hits me that her name is fucking Karen, which is hilarious if you watched my In the Mic of Madness, or should I say listen to my In the Mic of Madness podcast on the recent Halloween film, where there's a character named Karen, and Rebecca Reinhardt hates that fucking name and beat it into my head for like 10 minutes how much she hates the name Karen, and somehow I forgot the name Karen, and I'm really fucking annoyed with myself, and I probably should be paying attention to the fucking Walking Dead right now. But I'm very annoyed with myself because I should know Halloween better than this. Ugh. Anyway.